Good morning and welcome back to Hadassah's Discernment. This morning we are looking at preparing for the Christmas season. Why? Why in June 2026 we're talking about Christmas season? Because the merchants they're already preparing for you. The advertising companies they are already preparing for you. It is a plan that is very strategic and it's just time for the implementation. And because the merchants will make double, like 100% of their profit that they will make from January to November. In December, if they make £6,000 from in profit from January to November, from in the just the month of December, they will make 12,000 profit. As long the business is well planned, well have proper resources, cash flow, proper planning, advertising, in the normal business, they will make double, double the income that they will make for those first 11 months. And that is why the merchants they plan well, they strategize, their advertisements, their giveaways. All of these things are to entice you and to entice John public to keep spending and spending. And you get into the season and you enjoy yourself for that short period. And then at the end of the year and for the new year, some of us are in continue in that revolving manner of sinking ourselves every year into debt, whilst the merchants are going to the banks happy. This year, my encouragement to you is that you too will go to the banks happy at the end of the year. Now, for Christmas, we all like, especially women, we all like to have our new curtains or something new we blending, we look and the color scheme, what it is. If you cannot afford to buy those curtains or whatever you want by July, because at that time the merchants will be packing away and trying to sell off the old stock to bring in the new stock. So you may have some deals or you'll get it before the price increases. So that if you cannot afford to have it next month, forget it. Because what you will find is that you will continue in that revolving manner of sinking yourself further into debt. If we are going to walk ourselves out of financial debt, remember we started the year where we said for the first 3 months after we have deducted our liabilities from our income, we are going to freeze unnecessary spending. And then we are going to take 10% of what was left after deducting the liabilities, and we are going to save 10% of that money that is left over. Then we are going to declutter and give away. Giving is an integral part of walking ourselves out of financial debt. And we said we would do that for 3 months. And that 10% that was saved, that would have become a whole. And out of that whole, we take 10% and put it towards the debt that we are in now. And then we save the 90%. So now we're at another 3 months. January, February, March, April, May, June. So we should have done, if we're following this process, we should have had the first 3 months where we have saved 10% for that first 3 months. Make that a whole. Out of that whole, we took 10% and added to the debt to help to pay off, to clear that debt faster, the main one. Then we repeat that system again for the next 3 months. So we are now in the middle of the year, and we cannot afford to, as we go down to August, September, October, and then our eyes, see the things and we desire it, and impulse, the impulse spending, we forget, or we ignore. We don't really forget, we ignore our actual realities in life, where we are, where we stand, how indebted we are, or how we are so, our financial power has been given to the credit card companies and the big banks, because what? We have entangled ourselves in a revolving system of sinking ourselves further into debt. I am here to help us to walk ourselves out of financial debt. So if you want new curtains for the season, if you need it because you need to recycle and you cannot afford to buy it next month, forget it. You cannot afford it. You are sinking yourself further into debt. So that's the first thing. We are going to put on our liabilities how much you can afford from this month. It could have been better at the beginning of the year, but we can start from this month. When you receive your income, you're going to put a part of your liability, if it's £10, £20, and we will accumulate that for the next 6 months. And that is what we are spending for Christmas. Because if we are walking ourselves out of financial debt, at the end of the year, we are going to be happy. Just like how the merchants will be going to the banks and they will be happy. We'll be happy because why? We have conditioned, we have prepared, we have strategized, and we have implemented our plan where we put aside how much we can afford to spend for that 4 weeks. How much we are going to afford. We are not going to put ourselves further into financial debt to impress John Public. John Public getting on with their lives, with his life. You have to get on with your life. We want more flexibility. We want more control over our finances. I did an women's entrepreneurial course way back in the early 2000s, and it spoke about women businesses and who are the best consumers and the businesses that are more profitable. Those businesses are what? Women oriented businesses, cosmetics, clothing, household equipment and appliances. Now women are into buying their own homes, their own cars, their own vehicles, they're into businesses. But traditionally, we were talking about it. And here's where I learned that 4 months period, it is so profitable because at the beginning of the year, for the first 2 months, if you have employees, your business profit, the margin will decrease significantly because people will stop shopping. A lot of people spend like there is no tomorrow, and so they don't have any resources, and the season now has climaxed and people are going about their normal thing, back to work, back to school, and life has become normal again, all the parties and everything. So the companies that will manufacture the soft drinks and the hard stuff and all this, these people expect the wave, the increase, and then they expect the plateau and then the decrease, the reduction of sales. They expect that. So they pour a lot into preparation, into advertisements, into giveaways, into the all the other things that they have at Christmas, all those programs, the 10% off, the 20% off, the shopping spree, the win this, the win that. All of those things are well planned out. They are catered for in the total expenses of the company. They know exactly what they're doing. For us, it's a giveaway, yes, but that's already planned and added into the entire scheme of the Christmas preparation. So we now, for us, it's beneficial, yes. If you can get the things 20% off or whatever, go for it. But do not plan from now. Do not get yourselves into that cycle, that revolving cycle of sinking yourself further into debt at the end of the year. That's why you have to start now. The advertisements, some of them have already been prepared. It's just time for execution. The manufacturers have already supplied or in process of supplying the the commodities, the increase, the extras for the season. Everything is on stream. It's only you and I are not mentally prepared for that influx of advertisements and the air, the entire atmosphere of welcoming the season, the Christmas season, and everything else. The parties, the shows, the movies, everything, the sales and Santa and the parades, everything, the advertisements, everything is on stream already. But the average consumer is oblivious. They're ignorant. They have no knowledge of what is there to come and take them and engulf them for that 4 weeks. So I am bringing awareness. Christmas planning begins now. If whatever you want to do, start putting aside a little every month. And whatever you have put aside, let that you're not putting yourselves in that revolving system of sinking yourself further into financial debt. I hope what I have shared today is beneficial for all of us, and it will help us to continue to walk ourselves out of financial debt. See you back next time.